Hey, sorry, I've been a little busy lately, but and also just kind of like, trying to get things to calm down and here on the tube of you. And anyways, I don't know if people listen to this, but it's pretty important stuff. Especially because if Giuliani is um, just was rated and everything, and he's coming out publicly to talk about it. That really demonstrates his posture, and I'll lead into this as well about in this. Well, I'll lead about um, this video is like Giuliani's a lawyer. Um, I Giuliani's a lawyer, and he knows the rules and laws way better than a lot of people do. And if he did something in the wrong, uh, you know, yeah, he wouldn't be that stupid. And plus he's worked with a mob, dealt with a mob, and everything with the sword. So he's not a stupid guy. And what he says is just kind of interesting. I'm trying to figure this one out, but like I said, I've got a bunch of things going on, and so yeah, if you could leave your thoughts, I always appreciate your thoughts. Take care, be safe, be kind, stay strong, I love you all, and yeah, I'm just trying to send this out there, so please forgive the editing and such, and I'm working on trying to get everything better.
Giuliani joins us.
I'm not homeless anymore.
Mr. Mayor, thanks so much for coming on. Now, if you'd been reading the Twitter feed of the Lincoln Project, the Democratic hacks who got Joe Biden elected, you would have known that federal agents were about to raid your home. They knew before you did, but apparently you weren't. Tell us what happened yesterday.
Well, about 6 o'clock in the morning, there was a big bang, bang, bang on the door, and outside were seven FBI agents with a warrant for electronics. And I looked at the warrant and I said, this is extraordinary because I've offered to give these to the government and talk it over with them for 2 years. I don't know why they have to do this. The agents seemed somewhat apologetic, I might say. They were very, very professional and very gentlemanly. The only time they got perturbed is at the end of the search when they had taken about, I'd say, 7 or 8 electronic items of mine, which is what they took, and 2 of someone else's. They weren't taking the 3 hard drives, which of course are electronic devices. They just mimic the computer. I said, well...
So I would say that it was about seizing Trump's information. That's what I would say this was about. It was about Trump's information. I just thought about that, and I'm glad I made an edit of this video, or redid this video and stuff, because that's what it seems like, is that Trump is that's part of the investigation on Trump. Because there has been Ukraine involvement and such, or I'm not saying that there is. And let's just play this out. I'm analyzing this.
Don't you want these? And they said, what are they? I said, those are Hunter Biden's hard drives. And they said, no. I said, are you sure you don't want them? I mean, the warrant required them to take it. And they said, no. And I went,
What the warrant, because electronic devices, any and all electronic devices, maybe not down to the toaster, but definitely anything that can, like hard drives, external hard drives, CDs, and things like that.
the last time I said, don't you think you should take it to... And they said, no. Now, Hunter Biden's hard drives fall within the scope of the subpoena. The subpoena required them to take all electronics, but they decided to leave that behind. And they also were completely content to rely on my word because of Hunter Biden's hard drives. They could have been Donald Trump's. They could have been Vladimir Putin's. They could have been anybody's. But they relied on me, the man who had to be raided in the morning, because to destroy the evidence. I've known about this for 2 years, Tucker.
I mean, they're bringing something into light here, but the thing is, Giuliani, he's also a politician, and what he's doing here is trying to form the lie. If something's been exposed, and he's trying to form it before any more information comes out there, and so he's telling his side of the story. He's getting his side of the story out real fast. That's what it's coming down to. And so, this might be part of the plan, though. This might be part of the plan.
Destroy the evidence. I did destroy the evidence because the evidence is exculpatory. It proves that the president and I and all of us are innocent. They're the ones who are committing. It's like projection. They're committing the crimes. Yeah.
Well, may I just interject to say...
What crimes? I mean, so it seems like Giuliani is going to be tried. And, I mean, maybe Trump is turning his back on him. Maybe this is Biden attacking him, Giuliani. I don't know where the pieces fall on this. And for it to coincide with Maricopa County, was Giuliani bought out, and is he part of this whole Ponzi scheme on the election? Did Giuliani try to get a quick buck? And look, Giuliani's sleeping. He's like, I don't want to deal with this. That's pretty crazy that I stopped it right there. It's like, he's a dead man. That's exactly how I'm seeing this. Something doesn't add up. And Giuliani is a politician. He's a lawyer. And if you know the law, you're going to break the law.
It's, I think, literally projection. So from what we have read in the press, the Department of Justice wants to know whether you violated FARA, the Foreign Agents Registration Act, in representing foreign nationals, Ukrainians, for pay. You didn't register. They're saying that may have been a crime. We know for a fact that Hunter Biden did that. He didn't register under FARA. He represented Ukrainians. He probably made a lot more than you did. He also represented Chinese nationals, lobbying his dad. And he has not been charged with a FARA violation. Am I missing something here?
Well, yeah, you're missing, equal administration of justice, which is what we don't have anymore. The reality is a hard drive contains somewhere between a dozen or more violations of FARA that are spelled out completely, failure to register. The fact is it also spells out, as we now know, a clear violation of the Gun Act. The application is a straight-out fraud. He says, I'm not an addict. We have a picture of him 5 days before smoking a crack pipe behind the wheel of a car. And
so Biden is seeing this as an attack and everything, and this is going back to Hunter Biden. And why didn't the FBI take the Hunter Biden hard drives? Why? That's what's peculiar about this whole damn thing.
And saying under oath that he's not an addict, and it's the left that gets all perturbed about people who are mentally unstable having guns. Well, he was unstable. Unfortunately and tragically. I feel sorry for that part of Hunter Biden. I think his father exploited him. But the reality is he's still a danger to the public if he's driving an automobile or holding a gun. But they don't care about that. No. They come and say it to my apartment when I'm willing to talk to them civilly myself. And second, I can tell you, I never ever represented a foreign national. In fact, I have in my contracts a refusal to do it because from the time I got out of being mayor, I didn't want to lobby. Never did it to Bush, never did it to Obama, never did it with Trump. And I can prove it. Just give me an opportunity. If they always said they had a breakdown.
He didn't lobby for Trump, but he definitely was part of his team. You know, and I think that's a fair assessment.
I would say breakdown, but smash on my doors in a frightening way. Lucky I don't get frightened very easily. I handled them very professionally, and they handled me very professionally. I want to make that point. Also, Hunter, I am a lawyer who has prosecuted a lot more serious cases that have been prosecuted in the U.S. Attorney's Office since I left. And the reality is that that warrant is completely illegal. The only way you can get a search warrant is if you can show that there's some evidence that the person is going to destroy the evidence or is going to run away with the evidence. Well, I've had it for 2 years and I haven't destroyed it. And they also got it from the iCloud. So there is no justification for that warrant. It is an illegal, unconstitutional warrant. One of many that this Department of Injustice tragically has done, and it breaks my heart because I belong to the Justice Department, and I think I had a record that's a hell of a lot better than theirs.
Joe Biden said.
So you can watch the rest of that. But didn't you just see that search? It's like things are happening. You know, election audit. Maybe I should just do election audit. I don't think. See, they're trying to control the text. Republican backed Arizona election account is a rogue audit. Look, they're already freaking.
We're going to bring in the best for this one. Bram Resnick, he's a political reporter from KPNX 12 in Phoenix. He has been covering the story from the very beginning. He joins us now. Bram, we can giggle or snicker and say this is bizarre and weird and laugh at this company called Cyber Ninjas. But how serious is this if they come out of this recount and suddenly say the results are changed?
Well, I think it's bigger than that, Stephanie. I encourage people not to call it crazy, not to call it weird, because what you see happening here is basically election law being made on the fly. We have this really what amounts to a rogue audit. Their own lawyers say there is nothing in Arizona law that prevents us from doing this. And so you have the precedent of an audit basically commissioned by about 5 or 6 Republicans on a committee in the legislature who subpoenaed, seized those ballots you're looking at, 2.1 million ballots, election machines.
Look at how harsh words they're using. You know, so they're already demonizing this democratic right that we have in the United States of America to authorize Maricopa County election audit to continue. And see what they're doing here is they're hiring people that or getting volunteers that actually want to do this, legitimately want to have future jobs. And at the same time, we don't know all their procedures and everything like that. They can't let us know everything. You know, this is a test. There's no cheating allowed. And I'm certain that there's, some phony ones in there just to see, in batches just to see what people are doing. Like, are you being fair? You just... Is that a phony ballot? Well, let's see what happens here. See, they might do rotations. Like the Enigma machine. Like, there's no way to tell, who's up. People are always moving around. Like no one is being stuck at one spot. A nice shin diaper. What's the point of wearing a fucking mask? Why are you looking at the dude's crack? But look, like, why isn't this more mainstream news? Why isn't this more mainstream news? Let me just put audit. Look at this. They really want to freaking
68-year-old Roland Bowers accused of mail-in ballot fraud.
Allegedly voted the son's mail ballot.
It was the Florida Department of Law Enforcement which contacted the elections office after the election. A man who moved out of state 7 years ago reporting someone posing as him requested, received, and submitted a ballot. The FDLE said the ballot was requested on the same computer that Roland Bauer requested a ballot for himself. Lives in Winter Springs. Initially denying everything, Bauer eventually told investigators, "Yes, I basically got the thing, and I voted, but it didn't make a difference." Continuing, "I got the ballot and filled it out. I think I did it a week or two after I voted." Other than mailing, few would have access to enough personal information to get a fraudulent ballot.
It was a very, very low percentage that actually happens, but again, that doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. And as you can see, it is tracked down and it is prosecuted.
In the FDLE complaint, Bauer indicates he was upset about the direction of the country. The supervisor of elections suggests there are other ways to make change.
But you don't have to commit crimes in order to get your way, essentially, because as you can see, crime doesn't pay.
In Seminole County, Dave McDaniel, West News.
Was he for Trump or was he for Biden? That's, at least I'm biased. You know, and I think that, and see that, and that's a description that no one needs. You know, that's just that's news, just no radicalism. Let me give that a thumbs up for journalism. Didn't I just do that election audit? And see, like, that's harsh language, Trump, big lie, that guy. But they're not, no, only the local news is reporting it. So you know this has to be, yeah.
Let's head to Arizona, where Republicans are recounting 2 million ballots by hand in Maricopa County, nearly 6 months after the presidential election. And just a reminder, President Biden beat former President Trump in the state by 10,000 votes. Vaughn Hilliard is checking in with voters in Phoenix. Vaughn, what in the world is going on with this audit? Who is counting the ballots? And my most important question, who is paying for this noise?
Good question, Stephanie, because most of those we don't have answers to. We actually have no idea who
who are.
The taxpayer is, because that's freaking a part of our taxes, is to freaking afford these managers known as government officials to handle matters such as this, to exercise our rights. We understand it costs money, but maybe if the government stopped spending so much money, there'd be a way to not even make this a big deal. But we'd much rather have poor people in our own country so we can go kill people in other countries.
Actually, these hand counters, we don't know who's paying for this audit. In short, this was the Republican-led state Senate that subpoenaed Maricopa County's.
Republican. Okay, so I can deal with the biasness.
First, the presidential election was more than 5 months ago, and despite several audits and a hand count here in Maricopa.
I mean, isn't this rather important? 2.1 million votes being counted by hand. That's a lot of votes.
County, the fight over the results continues.
Earlier today, a judge ordered a temporary restraining order to stop the latest election audit.
That order, Nicole, came with a catch. The state Democratic Party has to pay $1 million for the holdup, and that is not going to happen. We have live team coverage tonight. Investigative reporter Morgan Lowe reports. His report sparked the security concerns over the audit process, but first we'll start with political editor Dennis Welch, live with today. Really just a look at what all of this means, Dennis.
Well, Jared, I can tell you just in plain English what it means is that this audit of the 2.1 million ballots cast here in Maricopa County, it's going to continue, and that is despite some serious concerns raised in court today about privacy issues for voters and security of the ballots themselves.
I believe personally that $1 million is quite a bit. That's a lot.
Maricopa County Supervisor Steve DiArdo explaining why the bond won't be paid, allowing the recount to continue.
This whole process, there's only budgeted at $150,000, and they asked for $1 million bond is pretty excessive.
DiArdo filed a last-minute lawsuit this week accusing the auditors of.
So didn't we just get some numbers? It's really not that expensive.
Violating laws that protect voter privacy. Even though there will be no pause, Gallardo is pleased with the results because the auditors will now have to follow new protocols ordered by the court.
The whole basis of this lawsuit was to ensure that we protect the integrity of our election, we protect the sanctity of the ballots, and that's exactly what the judge has ordered.
One of those new protocols, the Republican-controlled Senate and its team will now is pleased with the results because the auditors will.
A rider truck? So just remember, like freaking, all it takes is a fancy storefront.
Now have to follow new protocols ordered by the court.
The whole basis of this lawsuit was to ensure that we protect the integrity of our election, we protect the sanctity of the ballots, and that's exactly what the judge has ordered.
One of those new protocols, the Republican-controlled Senate and its team will now have to use red-colored pens. This comes after a reporter spotted auditors using blue pens that could damage the ballots and skew the results of the recount.
Those were handed out in the beginning, and so that was like when they were, before they were actually counting the ballots, so.
All things like this, that it's going to compromise.
No, shut up, doucher. Excuse me. So being that this is not even making mainstream news, I mean, especially it's so ludicrous, right? Why? Oh my goodness, it's so crazy. Yeah, the damn Republicans, Trump supporters, they can't get over their loss during the election, but for the first time, here, let me actually pause, lest we forget about Georgia. And I forget, this has been going on for like almost 2 years or so, and it's like these are the same people that freaking want to change the voting laws, and that say that we had a fair election, but because they won, but when they lose, it's like, oh, this, that, and that's why there's so much chaos. What does that mean? I'm seeing Georgia, but not Arizona. Look at this. They're burying it so freaking bad. I fear vote counts could be on. You know what? Okay. No one needs that. I wish you bore me to the first time. And look at this. Doing counting census election. Oh my God. I forgot what I was looking for because this is just so crazy. Yeah, like they're not even. Pay for a freaking Washington Post. No, fucking elite. It's fucking propaganda. So, that's where, first thing, well, here, let's just go with this one. Oh, I can't read this. Well, I mean, this is where, first statewide audit, this is 2018, successfully confirmed the winner of the chosen contest and should give voters increased confidence in the results. Hard work economy. But yeah, basically, like the machines, the report results in a full manual tally is well within the expected error rate of hand counted ballots, and the audit was a success. So that was in 2018, and there's still that one lady that's going for it. Why do a post-election audit? If an audit process is in place, it can inform election officials of any bugs or errors in the system and can act as a deterrent against fraud. Proponents of post-election audits argue that, they can also help avoid a full recount by reviewing when a recount is necessary to verify the correct election outcome, and ultimately a robust post-election audit can increase confidence in the results of an election. Post-election audits can be time-consuming for election administrators, and most post-election audits contain an element of hand-counting paper records, which is an error-prone process. Even with good procedures, people physically looking at votes and one piece of paper are less reliable at tabulating than a machine, although humans are better at discerning voter intent. Are audits required? Are they voluntary or only conducted under certain circumstances? So that's that's the whole thing, is why, I don't know, what type of equipment is used in the state. A paper trail is needed to conduct a post-election audit, and some older systems do not contain this paper trail. Most newer systems, however, have the capacity to undertake a post-election audit and produce the necessary paper trail. However, the audited ballots, precincts, machines, or districts selected, how many races well, the audit, not like actual contest races. And here, well, I haven't looked at. I mean, it's a long page, and this is they. What is it? I don't know what NCSL stands for. Here, let's just go to about, and I'll go back. Oh. I don't know, freaking nice website, but just don't freaking put it in there. Anyways, I mean, so everything that's going on is not that crazy, besides the fact that Google is censoring the hell out of Arizona. Take care, be safe, be kind, stay strong. Love y'all. And sorry, Jesus. And sorry. I'm getting myself situated. I just moved. I'm no longer home.